Well, joining us now from Athens is Stathis Poularakis. He's an advocacy officer for the group Doctors of the World. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for talking to us. First things first, how many children that you and your organisation have been treating, how many are there and how many of them are unaccompanied?
Well, actually, thank you first of all for the opportunity and your interest in the work of Doctors of the World Greece and the opportunity to communicate our position and our work here in Greece that we have performed since the early 90s. Under our own estimates, because there is no actual, let's say, you cannot be sure 100% sure on the statistical data, we as MDM Greece, we have seen and provided support and medical care and psychosocial support for over 1,000 children, unaccompanied minors we're discussing about. Of course, there are many. We have presence in all the, more or less on the 40 camps that actually operate full operational here in Greece. And we are providing medical healthcare services and psychosocial support inside the full functional operating hotspot of Lesbos, in Moria Lesbos. So we have seen many times the problems that all the accompanied minors are facing when they just first come to Greece and
what are some of those?
During their time they're staying here.
What are some of those problems? What are the migrant children suffering from?
Well, as you already mentioned in your report, most of the kids, for their own protection, more or less, at some point remain in police custody, protective custodies actually, or in detention facilities for a quite significant amount of times. This, of course, has a serious impact on their psychological and mental health. And we have seen many problems the children are facing due to the conditions and the detentions, the prolonged detention. For example, let's say we have seen cases and reported cases of self-inflicted harm, of drug abuse inside camps for accompanied minors, and of course tensions between them and with the other persons living in the camps. And of course we think this is because of the general anxiety and frustration, and without them knowing what exactly will happen to them, to their future, what is actually their future here in Greece. And this creates, of course, tensions and anxiety.
What do you make of how the Greek government is dealing with this issue?
Well, of course, there are many things that need to be done. Of course, there are some, there have been the efforts to address the issues that most of the accompanied minors or separated children, because we tend to speak only about unaccompanied minors, but there are also separated children and the families with children. They have tried to enhance their efforts in order to address their needs, but many things need to be done. First of all, we have, let's say more or less, we have to at some point find durable solutions and then the automatic regime of detention for accompanied minors, even for their protective custody. We have to set up and implement short-term and long-term solutions for them. Short-term, let's say, safe zones inside camps for some time, and of course more long-term stays, places for accommodation facilities. And of course, they have to set up and implement a fully operational system of guardianship and foster care for the children.
Okay, Stathis Poularakis, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time and joining us.